All right, pursuant to Governor Baker's order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law and imposing strict limitations on the number of people that may gather in one place due to the outbreak of the COVID-19, this meeting of the Town of Berlin Select Board will be conducted via remote participation. The Town of Berlin will post an audio or video recording of proceedings as soon as possible after the meeting on the town's webpage, the town's YouTube channel, and approved minutes will be posted to My Town Government. All right, and we'll call the meeting to order at 7 o'clock. We've got the approval of the March 22nd open session meeting minutes. Did anyone else have any comments or questions?
No, I just saw all the red lines in there, so.
Okay. So was the red line, did the red line include the vote on our house numbers?
Yeah, so the house numbering bylaw not to
Okay.
include, yep.
And yeah, go ahead.
There's the other red line that is escaping me at the moment.
That
was
is
at the bottom.
the
So you
parking
now asked
lot
the-
bids.
Oh, yes, the parking lot bids. Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And then there was also I think when Mabel Felton Marble was mentioned, it was not Felton, it was something else.
Fenton.
Fenton.
Okay, all right, so we'll change that as well.
Okay.
I don't know where that is. Oh, there it is, I see it. Felton, okay. Okay.
Okay, with those red line changes, do I hear a motion to approve?
So moved. And seconded.
Or second. There. No taker can figure out who did what there.
You get to pick.
All right, then we'll take a vote. Keefe, aye.
Stone eye.
Hawkins, aye.
Thank you, Lisa, if she's around.
Yes, thank you.
Jesus.
Oh, that's right. I haven't done that yet either.
Do we have any correspondence?
You actually did receive some correspondence that you responded to, and I didn't know if you wanted to mention this in board up comments and questions. It was correspondence from Marlboro.
Yes.
Regarding a meeting to talk about the zoning. So were you planning on talking about that at the end of the meeting or?
No, I hadn't planned on it because I know Scott and Peg were both copied on it.
Okay,
Mhm.
all right. So it's just a follow-up to what the board had previously discussed, and Marlboro is welcoming us to attend a meeting. So Chris, I saw that you responded that you and I will attend, and we'll figure that out.
Okay, and we'll bring everything back to the board.
Yep.
And so we'll move on to general public comment.
Nothing.
Listen to the silence.
Listen to the peepers if the windows were open. Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay, then. We'll move on to the general department update, which is our town accountant tonight.
Okay. All right, she's coming up.
Hello.
Hey,
Hello.
June.
How is everybody?
Good. How are you?
Not too bad, hanging in there.
June,
Good.
you've been busy. Look at you.
I know, huh?
So I figured I would just read everything on this list. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, really. Wait a minute. Sorry, I gotta go.
Take a nap. No.
So is this your diary? The diary of work?
This is my little like journal so that if I need something later on, I go back to. So it's not a.
Oh, that's
Just shows why you're working 60 hours a week, doesn't it?
It's also because I forget a lot of stuff, so it's easier to write it down so I remember. But we won't mention that part of it. So
Okay.
I pretty much broke it out into 3 years. The fiscal year 2020, which ended in June of last year, we started working with the auditors on December 7th. This year was definitely different with the COVID. They did not come out to the offices this year. Unfortunately, that meant that we had to do a lot of extra scanning of the information that they normally would come in. We would usually show them or point them in the right direction and they would get, but this time we had to scan everything to them. We finally actually just received the completion of that. I actually have hard copies in my office. What I'll do is I'll scan them in and I'll send them to you all. And then I'm also going to post it on the website just so it's there. And I have hard copies if anybody wants them. The Schedule A, which is just a summary of all the town's accounts, all the revenues coming in and going out of all of the different revenues, general fund and the special revenues. It goes into the DOR database once it's accepted. That there, I had done pretty much at about the same time as the balance sheet, but they finally got around to certifying that on February 5th. We had to make a couple of adjustments for the direct deposit fraud thing that we had going on. I had to make sure we backed that out, and also the region, because we vote it separately. I recorded it separately, but we only have 2 regions, not 3. And that's pretty much it for 2020. So we finally got to close the books out on that. And then, let's see, this year we've been doing a ton of Zoom meetings, as you all well know.
I just renewed the subscription. It's officially been
Wow.
a year.
I know.
March 19th left.
And it sounds like most of the classes that we're having or meetings and things are still all Zooming. So we did a lot of catch up. So I did July through November and got that all caught up to date. And we seem to be having a lot more grants, which is great for the town, but it just means that there's extra work as far as the setup goes. And it's, I'm trying to get the department heads to remember to give it to me as soon as they apply for it and they know that they're going to get it, just so that way there I can have all the accounts set up before they put through a submission as far as for the expenses go. And have the paperwork ready. So when Dennis gets extra money and he asks me what it's for, usually then I at least have some idea on roughly the dollar amount that we'd be looking for. We've had a number of issues with vendors, whether it be there for some reason they're starting to charge us sales tax. We seem to be having a lot, and I'm going out on the limb to say that it's probably most of it is our post office, but we're having a lot of late bills come in or misplaced bills. The companies are starting to get really, I don't want to say paranoid, but they seem to be calling now as soon as bills are past due. I'm getting a lot of phone calls and following up on that type of items. Working with the CPA and with Tim as far as on the CPA and the new process and how that all rolls out and the dollar amounts as far as what to use for estimates. IRS we had to do a little update on VADAR because the IRS changed the rules for the 1099 miscellaneous over to the 1099 NECs, but that all worked out really smooth. Those all went out on time. Assisted with the volunteer handbook, the financial end of that, doing lots of transfer of forwarding calls. For some reason, our office gets hit first, and the ambulance receivables, we have now all of the old bills from Comstar, which is the old collection agency. Those are all in with the collection agency, and we're working on them, as you well know, because you've been seeing us do periodic write-offs now as we're getting to the point where we can't do anything else. We're just putting them through for write-off. Hopefully soon we'll be able to be at least to a point where we're working more current than old. We did receive a payment. I think Chief Clark mentioned that. We got a phone call from one of the notices that went out during the collection process that a bill had actually been paid, which I had to follow up on that and come to find out they had actually mailed the check to Comstar and it just went missing in action, but they were willing to put a cancel on the check and issued us a new check for $1,745. So we've received that. And that one was actually from May of 2016 was that actual bill.
Wow.
And currently I am working right now with Coastal in turning over. There was only a very small amount of turnovers that have come out of Coastal, which is our current company. We're in the process of turning over 107,000 into collections from Coastal And that will bring us, those turnovers are anywhere from 2017 right current to 2020 on items such as bad addresses and not having the correct insurance and things like that. And then pretty much I've been assisting Margaret with the budget process. We had finally got all of those done. Out of 59 of them, 17 of them were late and 20 had to go back 3 or more times on one. And that was all done by December 28th. Worked on the COLA spreadsheet that was needed to do those updates, and working with the administrative financial team, getting estimates for the 22 budget. And that pretty much sums it up.
Wow.
I know it's all really interesting, but sorry.
No.
No, it isn't, June. I appreciate it. I mean, I know it's kind of been like a running gig for the past 3 years of you and I, where I played 20 questions, every time you send out the expenses, but I'm learning. And so my questions are becoming less and less. So I just want to thank you for all your due diligence on this and answering all my questions every time I write back and go, what is this bill? So I very much appreciate you and all that you do.
Very welcome. That's what we're here for.
And I'm still waiting for my $1 million raise because I have it on my spreadsheet.
I have the sticky too. So
Yeah.
eventually someday it might just. Yeah.
Someday it'll get in. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I didn't know if you had any questions. I did send out, I think it was last week or the week before, the end of the month statements, which if you're okay with, I will send those to you monthly as we do them. If you have any questions or need any, explanations as far as what things are, just let me know.
Okay.
Just so that way there you can be a little bit up to date as far as if you're interested in any of the accounts that we have for the town.
All right. Questions for June?
June, are we slow as a town slowly trying to move to invoices coming in via email instead of paper mail?
We do have some, but then the people have to remember to print off emails. That's the big thing too, is just making sure. I'm working with people as far as if they can't come into the offices, they are sending in emails as far as the invoices go. Is that more the question?
Yeah, like National Grid and Charter or Comcast, those all coming in as because that takes care of the problem of the mail being late if they can come in via email.
They can, and on some of them, we're starting to think about doing that because for whatever reason, we have certain bills that take a long time to come in. So we are doing that, but we're not doing it on all of them, just as far as printing, because all of the stuff I still have to print out, so.
So our accounting system doesn't just, you don't just attach them as an electronic file?
Not yet, they're working on it.
Okay. Just that I
But
know my office took a
technically-
couple years and we've gotten to the point that our accounting department is all paperless at this point.
Yeah, we would like to do that, but unfortunately with the state right now, we still have to keep hard copies on something, so.
We still have a strict
Yeah.
records retention schedule, unfortunately. Maybe the
Unfortunately.
state will
Yeah.
catch up. Maybe the state will catch up with that.
But even if it's electronic, it's retained. As we follow very strict state record retention policies when it comes to our medical records at work, and we shred the paper stuff all the time because we scan it into our system, and once it's in the system and verified, we get rid of the paper because the record is still there. The record is just electronic.
I will double check on that, Scott, because I know the last time we had looked at it, they were looking into it as far as at the state level for our stuff, but I will look into that.
Yep.
Maybe there is some stuff that we can do electronically.
Yep. And then the other side of the electronic is, do we start looking at, are we mailing out checks? Are we doing ACH when we can?
Currently, we do both.
Okay.
The process on sending out the ACHs right now is on Dennis. And that would mean extra work for him. But it's probably going to be in the near future as far as sending them out.
A lot of our big payments are sent by ACH.
Yep.
The big.
Like our school assessments, we send those out, ACH and withholdings and things.
And our accounting software have the ability to approve invoices electronically?
Nope.
So where we need so that's not
It's
sort
all
of a
done by
feature.
email.
Yeah.
Yeah. which actually just makes more work because then I have to print out the
Right,
approval.
right.
Yeah.
Again, my office we had to buy separate software for it that integrates with our accounting software, but our accounting software couldn't do it even at my place, where they can send it out for electronic approvals and it can go through a variety of paths, different bills.
The
I spend.
Cadillac of municipal accounting software, Munis,
Right.
has the capability to do that.
So
That's the Cadillac.
full disclosure, my husband works for Munis
Yeah?
and is actually a programmer in the fund accounting payroll side of that. So we get
Give us a discount.
there's no connection between our household and any sales anywhere. But if we ever looked at that software, I'd have to figure out where there might or might not be any conflict of interest. But
Yeah.
It's a great software. Very, very expensive though. Very expensive.
yes, I agree with both of those statements.
But I will
probably-
actually
yeah,
check with Vadar and see if they're thinking about looking into the electronic signature, because
Yeah, the other thing to think is, do they integrate with Concur, which is the software we use at my office,
Okay.
that I have no investment in, but as a user, a non-finance department user, it has definitely sped up my ability to approve things to get it back to the payroll at the accounts payable department,
definitely I'll look into it and see.
because she can harass me by email and I can okay, yes, I'll log in right now and take care of them. And whether or not I'm in the office or she's in the office doesn't really matter. I don't have to go to the mailbox to find something.
That would be kind of nice. Yeah. I would look into it.
So June, I had a question. I know that we've probably kicked this horse till it's passed away multiple times over, but the phones for the town, to possibly get them all on one if possible, and then the same thing with the internet, and then any information on dispatch on how much it's costing us for Neshoba, and if there's ever any talk of bringing it back to Berlin cost-wise.
Order, you asked about phones.
Phones, yes.
The phones we are currently talking about. Right now, we need to see what we can combine, what we can't, because right now, again, it's kind of based on what people need as to which ones they're going with.
Yep.
But they are aware of it, and we have
Highway and inspections has some potential. That's
Yeah.
as far as we can see, highway and inspections has some potential.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because the police also include paging systems and things like that in theirs.
Okay.
And we're talking cell phones, not desk phones, right?
Correct.
Yes, we actually have, the chief actually combined all of the municipal phones into a different system than what we were using before. So we're away from Verizon with the
This is
old
T-
Centric system.
Yeah.
And I think we just paid or we just received the last final bill for AT&T long distance, which we just took off the last of the fax machines off of that. So that one, they did do away with that, which saved us, I don't know, it's like, I don't know, $30 a month just to have it. It wasn't. What was the other one?
Dispatch.
Dispatch, I have not had time because I've got to go and pull a bunch of records in the basement.
No worries.
It's there. It's on my sticky pad
I
to
know.
look at. The only thing is I can't remember where we talked about this before, but to bring it back in, it would cost us a lot of money, unfortunately, at this point, if we decided we wanted to bring it back.
I think Janet had asked strictly about the cost benefit analysis as opposed to the amount that it would cost to bring it back, because that's a totally separate animal.
It is.
We'd be forced to reimburse some state 911 grants that the district received.
But I mean, I understand the whole, wanting to compare and see where we are cost-wise versus service and that type of stuff. So
Okay, no biggie.
Still there.
No, I understand that. And I know that you're like super duper busy. It's not like critical on fire. It was just one of those while you were going through, popped in. Okay.
Yep.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
When the decision to go to Neshoba was brought before FinCom, the following year, there was a drop in the amount of money we spent in the communications area. And one of the driving factors was because of sort of safety of residents and safety of workers, we would likely have to go to a space where we had more people working concurrently, and that our costs were about to go up pretty substantially to be able to meet that. And so between a current drop at the time and the prevented from going up substantially to cover, so we had, again, a couple people on all the time. It was and it's worth looking at again, but at least at the time, that was the rationale for doing it.
No, that's fine. Again, I appreciate that. We're good. Thank you.
If there's no more questions, I want to thank you, June.
You're very welcome.
Thanks, June.
You guys have any questions, by
Thanks.
all means, we're there. So
Yep.
give us a holler.
All
Thank
right.
Holla.
Good night.
Thanks a lot, Jude. You're great.
All right.
Don't
It-
I don't see both members of the Board of Assessors here.
I see Kevin.
I see Molly and Kevin.
Yeah, I do not see Bev yet.
Was she coming?
I believe so, yeah.
They have to have a quorum.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, with Roger, they do.
Well, it says, it's interesting, the remaining members, the statute, remaining member or members of such board. It does not say all, but I think it implies all. Molly, if you're listening, if you could get a hold of Bev and get her connected, then we could move with that. Or Kevin, whoever wants to do that. Okay.
Okay.
Do you want me to promote them and keep them up here, or? What do you want me to do?
Well, I don't know if Molly wants to respond to your question.
Okay.
You
let
might
me,
want to just go ahead and bring them up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll bring up Roger too. I don't
Okay.
get to see Roger
I-
that often.
I left my phone at work, so I can't get a hold of anybody.
Well, okay, then maybe Kevin could? Maybe. Oh, Janet has her hand up. Janet, can you unmute? Do you have a question?
I'm trying to get Bev for you right now.
Oh, terrific, thank you.
She's not answering, so I'll send her a quick text. You want Bev Quinn, right? Bev Wheeler.
Bev
Yes.
Wheeler, yep.
Okay.
Thank you.
I sent them emails so that they would be on the top.
I already called her.
Aw.
She'll be
Hi,
right
Kevin.
here. All right, she'll be right
Hi,
here.
Kevin.
She'll be right here.
Good.
Okay, we'll watch.
Is Roger coming up too, or is he just on the phone?
I promoted Roger.
Yeah, Roger's like, yeah.
There he is.
Here I am.
Yes,
Aw.
Roger.
There you go.
Where
Hey.
are you?
Are you in
Good, how are you?
Clinton? You look
No,
like
That
that-
looks like the California coast.
It's a little further in the Pacific. It's Japan.
Oh.
Oh,
Nice.
I'm not there, but I'm right here on Linden Street.
so how's it going, Roger? We haven't seen you for a long time.
I know. It's going good.
That's good.
If you go to the dump, you run into Roger. He's always there.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, my husband's here home on Saturdays now, so that's his job.
Would you like me to just quickly run through my TA report while we're waiting for Bev? Or
Sure, I'd like to.
Sure. You could hit a couple items out. so.
I didn't even do a formal weekly report this week.
Yep.
I instead gave you pages and pages of the annual town report, which
Like
I
4
am gonna
pages,
trim
yes.
down. I'm gonna trim it down, I promise. First of all, on COVID, we'll hear a little bit more of this later with a proposed regional vaccine clinic, but Berlin has decreased in positivity from 2.37% over the last
One.
14 days to 1.54%. Pretty good. On the downside, unfortunately, is that 3 of our surrounding towns are seeing increases again. So we just have to remain vigilant. I mentioned before this meeting that the joint meeting with the library trustees is going to be postponed until next Monday to fill the vacancy on that board until the annual town election. I have reported to Sean Cronin, the Deputy Commissioner of Local Services, that we are going to be finishing up our Community Compact Human Resources Study. I gave him a date of April 23rd by which it will be finished, and we will have to provide a report to him. Sandy has all the questions and comments in hand and is marking up her draft report. At some point, the final work, refining those policies and procedures, is going to be on us. So I know the Personnel Committee is ready to start working on it, and we'll be going through some extensive reviews. Trish Settles from CMRPC physically delivered me delivered us the open space and recreation plans in hard copy in binders. So I'm letting you know now the Select Board's office will have a copy, Conservation will have a copy, Eloise will have a copy, but we have those final reports in hand now. We received an email today from Gabe Singal of Connect Wellness, the proposed marijuana cultivation facility. Still working on discussing that host community agreement. And he has presented red lines, which I have not had a chance to look at yet. So hopefully we're getting close to the point that we can come to the board and have some sort of tentative agreement on that. And then finally, the town's contract. There's Bev Wheeler. Okay,
Yep.
I'll hold off on the last 2 things. They're not that important.
Hey,
Not as important as having all the assessors promoted to panelists for
Yay.
the motion and vote. Okay, she's on her way.
Yay.
Bev, you there?
Muted.
Oh,
Mhm.
Bev, just unmute and you'll be all set.
Unmute.
There she is.
There we go, and my apologies, I'm sorry.
Okay, so the law requires, when there is a vacancy on the board, it requires a few things. First of all, that the board itself give notice to the select board of the vacancy, which was done quite a while ago. And then the remaining members of the board or committee with the vacancy should meet with the select board after 1 week's notice, which has been done. And you are jointly going to fill the vacancy by roll call vote. So.
Yay.
Yay.
all right. So do we do this as, do they vote and we vote separately?
No, you
We
can
just-
all vote together. You'll take
Oh, okay.
nominations and, yeah.
Okay, so do I hear a motion to have Roger Bradley join the assessors?
I motion Roger Bradley to join the assessors.
Yay.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay, is there anything else to be said? All about Roger.
Thank you,
So
Roger.
this is to fill the vacancy until the May 24th annual town election.
All right.
You have a speech, Roger? Any
No,
big
no.
speech or anything
No
to
big
get voted
speech.
in? Huh?
I'm gonna be relying heavily on the board members to help me through this.
Okay, that was
Okay.
great. All right.
Good teamwork.
And then you have an acceptance speech after we vote?
Yeah.
Okay, that'd be
I
good.
do have a question. Do I have to take the oath from Eloise?
You would have
At some
to, yeah,
point.
you would have to take the oath.
I
In fact, I
believe
think
you.
Eloise is going to be looking for a letter of appointment, which I can prepare tomorrow and send over to Eloise.
Okay. Okay, in that case, we'll take a vote. Keith, aye.
Stone Eye.
Hawkins, aye.
Kevin, I.
Beverly, I.
Very good. It's unanimous.
Yay.
Welcome aboard, Raj.
Thanks.
Roger,
Congratulations.
if you have any questions, just give the office a call. Excuse me.
Okay. I have 1,000 of them, but that's all right.
And we have to tell them when our first meeting is, right?
I saw
Yes.
it posted on the, it's April, isn't it?
It's the second and fourth
Monday.
Mondays of the month at
Okay.
6 p.m.
Yeah.
All right.
Usually.
The 12th and the 26th of April.
Thank you, Bev.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Okay, so I will get, Roger, I'll get the appointment letter to Eloise tomorrow. I will send the assessors and you a copy of that appointment letter, notifying you that you'll have to go see her to be sworn in.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Right.
Right.
All right.
Great.
terrific.
Congratulations, Roger.
Congratulations,
Roger.
Roger. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
All right, nice seeing you.
Bye,
Yeah.
Kevin. Bye, Bev. Bye, Molly.
Bye.
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 Bye-bye. Thank you.
You're
Okay,
welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Oops.
Okay. We got Bev too.
Look at that smile.
All set.
Okay.
Okay.
Then,
Okay.
why don't-
Yep.
oh, I see. Your town administrator report is right there on the agenda. Okay. Sorry about that. Go continue.
I
Had a
only
couple
had
other
one,
things?
I really only had one more thing. And that was that AMP Solar has sent a draft amendment, a draft fourth amendment to the town's solar PPA and solar power purchase agreement, I'm sorry. And I have not thoroughly reviewed it, and I asked the individual from AMP Solar if I could meet with him, so he could fill me in on the prior amendments and the original power purchase agreement. This power purchase agreement is going to come into play, or at least be reviewed by the consultant who's working on the meta grant for the highway solar. Because if we install solar and the PPA for any reason has a limit on the electric usage, and we exceed that threshold, I just want to be sure there are no penalties in that solar PPA that we'd face for exceeding the power threshold. So I'm going to go over it with him, so I better understand it, and then I'm going to give it to Beth Greenblatt, the consultant. I'll
Okay.
share it all with the
That's good.
Energy Committee too. I think they have access to it, but I will do that. And that's it. That's all I have.
All right. Any questions for Margaret?
Go.
So Margaret, you had talked about talking with the individual about the agreement for the possible facility for marijuana. we gonna-
Yes, Connect
Oh.
Wellness.
Thank you. Are we going to run into any issues that you can foresee with use of
Oh.
roads?
Interesting that you asked that, because we have, this is a burden of the applicant, right?
Yep.
So I have specifically emailed him and asked him to confirm with the town of Hudson
Yep.
that there is clear access, that the zoning in Hudson would allow for access to the Berlin parcel for this purpose.
So that's in the bit.
It's all clear.
All right. Does he have it in writing? Can he get it in writing?
I don't know. We did ask him. He said we were, we were all set as far as Hudson.
Right.
I don't know if we need to do that or not. Do we? Do you think so, Margaret?
Well, again, it would be
Yeah.
on him. I
Yeah.
would say, we could request it from him just to see, so we could
Yeah.
save any,
Right.
needless time on our side too, but the burden is on him. I could ask him
Okay.
to get
Well,
that to us.
We also told him, I think that, or we were going to tell him about having his community outreach meeting.
Yeah.
We
Mhm.
could do the same with the something in writing from Hudson.
Yeah, we could. Yeah, we, like Chris said, we're looking for them to do the community outreach meeting before the host community agreement is executed. So,
And I appreciate that. I just think of all the questions that were asked of Encore, and I think it was recorded, so I don't know if it would be beneficial for him to go back and almost like prep so that he knows or can anticipate some of the questions that are going to come his way in terms of trash and impact to water and air and neighbors and security and police and parking, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Hmm.
Okay.
All
all
right.
right, yeah.
Posted somewhere where you could just point him in that direction, Margaret?
As far as the zoning?
No,
Hudson's-
the community outreach with Encore.
Oh, I actually provided him all of the guidelines that we prepared when
Okay.
C3 did theirs. So they have
Okay.
all the rules on virtual community outreach meetings.
Okay.
Okay. All right. That's all I had.
Scott, you got anything?
No, I'm fine.
All right. And we're not going to deal with the library trustees tonight. I still have that. I must have an old copy of the agenda, but
Mhm.
Yeah,
yeah. So we'll move on to old business and the annual town meeting preparation.
okay. This should be fairly simple and quick. I hope. I know Barry is here to answer questions on the cemetery driveway article if need be. But first, I wanted to call your attention to the select board's action calendar. I did update it for the postponed annual town meeting, so you can see the extra dates that have been penciled in there where there's still ability to discuss motions and other things. All right, so Barry has, and I uploaded to the board's agenda folder, Barry has offered some comments on the warrant that I have not incorporated yet, but I plan to incorporate. So if the board has any questions on those, really there are a couple of typos, ways to save space under the capital planning article and things like that. Now, you only have 3 articles that you need to take action on tonight to include. The first is Article 2, and that is the fire chief special legislation. I did reach out to legal to ask if this needs to remain on the warrant. I have not heard back definitively, so my recommendation to the board is going to be to include this article, the draft legislation. Should it not be necessary, if for some reason the legislature does not act on this, there may be things the town can do to put the chief in an administrative role until such time as legislation is passed. So this preserves the town's ability to file its own legislation if the current one at the state fails. So I would recommend voting to include this special legislation. Article 20. Article 20 is the cemetery driveway paving, and Barry also submitted answers to the board's questions on that, as well as a set of minutes from November, where the commission, where the commission voted to request placement of the article. And those have been uploaded to your folder. So that's Article 20. And the last one is Article 24, which is the Advanced Life Support feasibility study. It's actually broader than just a feasibility study. But the fire chief did get a quote based on this scope of work of $17,500 to do a comprehensive study of expansion of the ALS services locally. examining options for regional ALS delivery and analyzing all short and long-term cost implications from moving to full ALS service. So those are the only 3 articles you have remaining.
Okay, do we have
The
any?
By the way, the Personnel Committee, I think you already know this, but the Personnel Committee voted last Wednesday to withdraw their personnel bylaw article
Yeah.
to be addressed at a future date.
Okay, so are there any questions for Margaret or a motion?
I will move to add all 3 of those to the annual town meeting warrant.
Do I hear a second?
Yeah, I'll second it.
Okay. Questions? Okay, then we'll take a vote. Keefe, aye.
Stone Eye.
Hawkins, aye.
Okay, and you also have the updated town fund balances, use of funds, sources and balances that reflect those costs, so. Okay, thank you.
Okay. And we have a waiver of right of first refusal for 169 Lyman Road. Parcel 2A, Chapman Webjo. Does anybody have any questions, or did you want to add anything, Margaret?
I don't, no, I don't need to add anything. The motion, except the motion would be to waive the town's right of first refusal on the parcel that's described in this sheet. I don't know if any of you have it.
2A.
Parcel, yep, lot 2A. Lot 2A, Lyman Road, Berlin, Mass. Noted on the assessor's map as 5.0 slash, oh, I'm sorry, map 5, lot 17, 5.0. Seller, I'm sorry, I'm going over all this and you can say so moved if you'd like. The seller is Webjo Co. Incorporated. Buyers are Dina L. Montillo and Gregorio Montillo.
So moved.
And if I,
Go
yeah,
ahead.
so if I understand it, both, one, we are doing the nice thing because the clock hasn't really started yet on this, but obviously why wait to the end if it's going to be foregone? And then if I also read it correctly, that if the town wanted to exercise our right of first refusal, I know it's buy the land, it would cost us $257,000 for
That's right.
that 5 acres,
That's correct.
which is, a chunk of money per acre.
And
and
we
then
did receive, oh, go ahead.
Okay, and that we've, like the Conservation Commission, others were aware of this, and no town department has raised any desire for us to be owning this.
Nope, all those comments have been submitted and I uploaded those to your agenda
Yep.
folder as well.
That's what I thought. So I will move that we waive our right of first refusal on the lot 2A, which is also known as 169 Lyman Street, as outlined.
Lyman Road, but second.
Lyman Road, sorry.
Okay. Then I guess we'll take a vote. Keefe, aye.
Stone Eye.
Hawkins, aye.
And that's unanimous.
Where did my, there we go.
Continuing on, we're going to get an annual town report update.
Yes, can I first back up for one moment, please? Does the board have any interest in renumbering any of the articles on the town meeting warrant? Or are you fine with where they are? I know I had asked about the wetlands bylaw and moving it closer to the citizen petitions, and I didn't know if the board would care to do that. I know Barry weighed in as moderator on this as well.
I like the recommendation that both of you have put on and that the moderator has put on to move that to be right before the citizen petitions,
Okay,
and to overtly state that we will not go up to, we not include that on Saturday. That if for some reason all the other articles are done in 5 minutes on Saturday, we will stop the meeting, and that Monday we will start with the wetlands bylaw. so that people who are just interested in the wetlands bylaw have a chance to come. I have nervousness when we put really complicated things towards the end of an agenda, just because people are at 11 o'clock. Well, it wouldn't be 11 o'clock at night on Saturday, but people are very tired and not ready to process things. And so I also think there's a lot of farmers and large property owners in town who might be trying to work their farms on Saturday, and Monday evening might be easier for them to get to. So I would like to push that back, and I would like us to overtly say that Monday will start with, well, if we don't finish, but I don't know how the right wording. If we only get to 10 articles on Saturday, we'll pick up on 11. But if we get all the way through everything, we stop, and that the wetlands bylaw will be on Monday.
Board consensus on that? You're good with
Yeah,
that, flipping it
That's
to,
fine.
okay,
Yeah.
all right. And I think it only pushes it back, I think it pushes it back 5 articles. That's
Yep.
all right, and I'll notify Concom.
Margaret, I know that Carolyn reached out to you today asking if there was an open web channel for her to do her thing.
I gotta
for
get
them.
back to her on that. I just didn't have time.
No, and that's fine. I just didn't know, have we seen any feedback from the other departments, planning, ZBA, written feedback? From that? Okay,
I have no
all right.
Okay.
Okay, thank you for allowing us to back up on that one.
That's
To annual town report update. I do know that Lori is completely caught up on the reports that she has received. As of February, and Mary was keeping track of this, so I've done my best to try to look into what she might have received or not, but as of February 16th, I think I uploaded the spreadsheet that she had showing several departments and that or boards and committees that hadn't yet filed. So tomorrow I'm going to connect with all of those committees to ask if they have in fact submitted them. And if they have, maybe they've submitted them to the town reports email address, which I don't have access to, I don't believe, and ask them to resend them and get them over to Laurie to print it. FinCom is going to be finalizing their report on Wednesday night. Personnel Committee is going to be providing the class and comp, the FY22 class and comp plan for the report next Wednesday, and then we're just going to be ready to send it out. And that's the way we're going.
Margaret, did you get the one from Energy? Because that meeting that you and I were there a couple weeks back, they had approved it. Did you ever get like a final copy of it?
I'd have to look. I
Okay.
don't know, unless it was submitted to town reports again. Maybe others were too. So I can check. I will
No.
email everyone tomorrow and,
Okay, and I'll look.
okay, thank you.
okay. Next is the Mabel Felton Marble Scholarship press release.
So,
This is updated for this year. We're looking at Friday, May 21st, 2021 as the deadline to submit application materials, which means we've got to get everything over to the school, out to the schools. We do have a current balance in that fund of a little over $2,200. So in the event there is no donation this year, we still have some funds that we could allocate to the award recipients. That said, Lisa reached out and to Judith Kerr, who donated last year, and she committed to another $3,000 this year. However, we haven't received it yet, so we wouldn't award money until funds are in hand. But
Right.
there are a few funds that are available.
Okay. So we've got the deadline as May 21st, correct? And the 24th, we don't have a meeting. Do you think we should extend it to the 28th, Friday, the 28th? Do you want to do that?
That's fine with me. You don't have a meeting on the 31st either, but you do have one June 1st. So the 31st is Memorial Day holiday,
Okay.
but June 1st you would. And so May 28th would be.
Well, I
fine
mean,
on our end.
yeah, I mean, that would be the first time we would actually be together after the deadline, right? And then the next day it would have to be sent to, or soon thereafter, it would have to be sent to Assabet and Tohoto to let them know the recipients.
Okay.
So I clicked on that link and it's still coming up. It says Berlin Board of Selectmen is now accepting applications for the 2020 Mabel Felton.
Okay, that's on
So-
the select board's webpage.
Well, it was on the press release that we have in our
In your packet?
Yeah.
Oh, that's odd. Okay. I printed one off that showed 2020.
Yeah, because I'm looking at it now.
For the 2021.
You're muted, Scott.
I don't know.
I keep
no.
muting whenever my clock goes off. That it does list the 2020 winners on that site, but if you scroll to the bottom, Margaret
Yeah.
Peg is right that it says 2020.
20 application, yep.
I don't know which site you're on. I'm sorry. Which site are you on?
You follow the link in the press release. It takes you
Oh.
to the Berlin
Oh.
the Berlin town
Okay.
page.
All
Yeah.
right.
It talks about
Oh,
what the
okay.
scholarship's all about and who the winners are. At the bottom of that page it says we're now accepting applicants for the 2020.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then it says below
Yeah.
that application deadline is passed and awards
Yeah.
have been made.
Okay.
And so it's
what
just a matter of updating that section.
Okay. I'm going to ask for that page to be updated.
Okay.
Okay.
And we'll also put the new press release up at the same time.
Well, one more thing.
Oh, yeah.
There's the word files in the document should be filed. So it's something about you
Yep.
should have your scholarship information filed or something.
Yeah, all application, all attachments should be files with the select board office. It says
Yeah.
select men, it
Is
actually.
that on the
too. It should say
webpage or is that the actual press
That's
release?
That's on the press release. The press release says Board of Selectmen at the top.
Which
And
one?
it says in the middle of the page, right before the preferred way of sending it is all attachments should be files. And she's right, it should be filed. And then the email address still says selectmen.
Oh, okay.
Well, the
Right,
email
fact.
address, yeah, the email address isn't gonna change. Aren't we still selectmen at Town of Berlin? It's
Yep,
just,
select, so I'm changing selectmen to select board and I'm changing files to filed.
All right.
And then on the page itself where it still talks about the Berlin Board of Selectmen needs to update.
Select board.
Yep.
And then in
Yep.
the last paragraph, reference to the selectmen's office.
It'll take us years to find
I
all
know.
the places where it
I
says
know.
select men replaced with the select board.
Oh, and then the
And
last one.
And
right
this is how we're
next
gonna
to it.
find them. We're
I
gonna
know.
find them as we do things and go, oh my goodness, that still says.
Yeah, okay, so there are several instances actually of selectmen. Okay, we'll fix them all.
All right, and
Just
it's
like-
getting, and it's getting moved to the 28th.
Yes.
The
Might as
question
well.
deadline, 28th.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so with those fixes, do I hear a motion to approve?
So
Motion.
moved.
And seconded.
Okay. Keith, aye.
Stone Eye.
Hawkins, aye.
Okay, that's a vote. South Commons legislative funding requests updates.
Mhm. So that, so what you see, where is it? I'm looking. So I wrote two letters. One, the first one was kind of like heartstringy, pull on it, on why we need it. And then the other one was from all of us. But Senator Cronin's, one of his committee members, the person's name is Dana, and I apologize. I don't know if Dana is a male or a female. But we've been in touch and Dana was suggesting that we write a letter on behalf of the town as well to Governor Baker and a few others. And I had reached out to Julie Lee as well for rec to kind of give her input as well, hoping that between all of us, we can get this money that Senator Tran fought so hard for us to get last year, or last legislative session. So I don't know, have at the letter. I don't know if you want to send two, one from all of us, and then one from me and one from Julie. I don't know if that would help. But let me know your thoughts and comments. And then what I can do is I will get them back to Dana and have Dana submit them on our behalf.
Okay.
I I think a letter signed by all the select board, showing unanimous support on the select board that this project is not a sort of one person crusade somewhere, but it really is a benefit to the town. Can't hurt at all.
Yep.
Probably helps a lot.
Right.
Okay. All right.
Do you want me to work on, well, I'll ask Lisa to put it on letterhead and we'll
Yeah.
update it and.
Yes.
okay.
Yep. That would be lovely.
Yeah.
So it will look official.
You're all going to have to come in at some point to
Yep.
sign that waiver of right of first refusal, so we'll put all this together.
Okay.
What, a reason to leave the house?
Forcing it.
Gotta put on pants. Here we go.
Okay. The draft BMS school lease agreement.
So now the agreement contains comments from Chris as well. So, well, what we're trying to, there are so many comments, I just haven't gone through them all.
Don't worry about it.
So, but I'm updating as we move. So with Pet's comments, I did update as we went through that. Now with Chris's comments, I will do that as well. So what we're trying to do here is just get a draft in the form that we want to send it over to the district to have discussions and get this executed. So,
should we send it to town council before we send it there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And we could have it reviewed and have them look at it, but it's going to be critical to make sure that both parties understand what is included in the leased premises. That's going to be huge. I've been, in other towns, there can be a lot of confusion about playgrounds and courts and things like that, and who's responsible for maintaining them. And some of these things can be very expensive, but I will incorporate edits based on your comments too, Chris, and we'll get this.
Okay. I mean, I think that the as far as what's included in the school property, I know it's on a map and a parcel and everything, but I think when we built the school, I think we decided, that the pond was not included, the courts were not included, and across the street was not included. That's not the school.
Is that memorialized somewhere too?
I would ask Eloise.
Oh, okay.
That's who I would ask.
Okay.
Yeah, and I didn't see sort of a layout of fields and playgrounds and responsibilities. And maybe that's adding in another one, because I had saved my comments for here as opposed to writing them up, and maybe I should write them up. But like, who has the right to put more buildings on the properties, because there's a bunch of tiny buildings there now, and whether or not we want to at least know about it or approve them, and what although like the fields might be something that's included for the schools, whether make sure our rec committee has some sort of, I don't know, first shot at renting out, so the school is not saying our rec team can't use it because they want to make money leasing it to somebody else, or
well, I mean, the school can't lease it to anyone else, but but a few years ago, that the field across the street is actually South Common. That's not the school's property. And we told the principal at the time that they needed to write a letter and request to be able to use it for gym class each year. But I think that kind of just fell off the radar at some point, and it's just not happening. But the gym classes do use the land across the street, but that's not their property.
Right. And Barry has his hand up. He might have something that
okay.
adds to this.
Yeah, he probably would know more about it than me.
Okay, Barry, just unmute.
When the building was being planned, that one of the things that we had to do was have the town turn over an appropriate parcel of land, I think it's 15 acres, to the school department for the building to be built on, so that it was dedicated to the school department's use. And some of the things you've talked about are correct. It's a 15-acre parcel. It includes where the schoolhouse is. It includes out to where their well is. And it includes from there over toward Pleasant Street to the end of the property. but it does not include the pond or the
Tennis
tennis
courts.
courts or
Okay.
or anything on the other side of the road. And it does not include the flat land out in the direction of the salt shed either. But that was a definite parcel, and that was a surveyed parcel, and that plan should be available either through the town clerk or perhaps in the papers of the building committee.
Well, that's good. That'll make it a
Yeah,
little.
we should be
easier.
able to locate that. It was voted at a town meeting.
Good. Thank
Yeah.
you.
I mean, there's some things I think I wrote in my red line was that, I don't think it was a practice of the town to take care of the landscaping. I think it was basically the school, because they did a community garden out front of the school at some point. I don't even know if it's still there. But that was them. They weeded it. They took care of it. I suppose if, we wanted to plant some trees, or if they wanted to plant some trees, we'd just have to talk to each other. But anyway. All
That's
right.
very helpful.
Yeah. And
Mary.
they also had they also have a community use policy, which I think they have outlined in the past, how it worked. If they had a date and the school was using it, then the town couldn't use it. The school came first, then the town, then residents of the town, and then people from outside, or people who were doing things for profit, or, I'm sure they still have that policy in their policy book or online.
And I think it's even referenced in the regional agreement too.
Yeah.
To some degree. So, okay.
I don't know if it's the same policy as when I was on the board, but I'm sure they still have one.
All right. Well, this is all very helpful.
Yeah. So having said all these things, then I guess we will talk about this at a future meeting.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. And we'll move on to the Berlin Country Club.
Berlin Country Club has requested an extension of their temporary extension of premises until COVID Executive Order number 35 is rescinded by the governor. This is a specific allowance. Back last year in July, the select board voted to allow the temporary premises extension. At that time, it was only allowed until November 30th, 2020. They have now extended it to allow it beyond that. So my recommendation is for the board to support the temporary extension of premises with all the conditions that were issued back in July 6th of 2020.
Okay.
So moved.
Thank you. Do I hear a second?
Seconded.
Okay. And if there's no questions or comments, then we'll take a vote. Okay. Keefe, aye.
Stone Eye.
Hawkins, aye.
Okay, great. So that will be extended until Order 35 is lifted.
Okay. We've got the Marlboro Regional COVID vaccination site request.
Just as we did with the Neshoba Valley towns, I think it's advisable to try to work with other communities to get a regional site in place. And Marlboro is actually staffed up with Marlboro Hospital staff, and they have a location, the Courtyard by Marriott near Route 20 and 495, that is not being used and can be used indefinitely. So I would like to ask the select board. I know this person asked for my signature, and it's been signed by other town managers and town administrators. I think there is more power in the select board signing this, so I would not be opposed to the select board signing on to this letter with the other towns. I'd ask for that. So we have to keep trying
Yep.
to get a more convenient site here.
I think it's an admirable effort. I'm glad to see other regions. I'm glad that people think of Berlin to do collaboration work, and I would gladly move that the select board support and sign that letter.
Absolutely, agreed, second.
Okay. Then we'll take a vote. Keith, aye.
Stone Eye.
Hawkins, aye.
Okay.
I have to say, was it on the news tonight? They're trying to get sites that are, so people don't have to travel more than 5 minutes. Did you see that on the news?
They're finally realizing that convenience is going to matter to, I mean.
I have to tell you, I got my first shot today.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
And it was a 30-minute drive.
Right.
But it was a CVS, and I was in and out the door before my actual appointment time. So
there you go. Good.
I believe Commonwealth Care Alliance is now beginning to do Johnson & Johnson shots for people who are homebound. I don't know where you go to sign up for it, but that has been in the news a couple of times that I've seen. And I think that's great for a lot of folks. It's going to reach people who aren't otherwise getting to places.
Yes.
How about people who are office bound, like Margaret?
I have to force myself to get out of here. Oh gosh.
Oh boy.
Eventually.
Yeah.
So good. Well, thank you very much. You did have the draft social services resource guide on here, and I don't think it was uploaded to the.
No, I tried to find it and I couldn't find it this afternoon.
Yeah, it was emailed to you. So we can bring it back next week and take another look. I neglected to.
Sure.
Well, I took a look at it, and I guess when you're looking at it this week, maybe you could figure out each of you, what direction do we want to go with this? I guess that's what Lisa was looking for. That's my assumption. Her being new to town, what direction do we want to go to with this? Because this is possibly, if there's money spent, it was going to come out of the, what was the new line we created?
Community social services.
Yes. So I think that sort of needs to be kept in mind as you read it. As I did find it in my email today. But yeah.
I mean, she did a lot of great work. I mean, if you look at other surrounding towns, there's a lot of information. I know that, the focus of it is to, for Berlin, but there are services like Assabet After Dark, that you can go to, and, the various sites of Verizon and Comcast and whoever else is in town, that needs to be put out there. So, I definitely applaud her for stepping up and doing this.
Yep.
Absolutely.
She's done it.
Yeah.
All right. So you will review, and we'll bring this back next week under old business.
Exactly. Yeah. And we're down to board questions and comments or liaison updates.
I have a couple.
Okay.
The talk about the South Common stuff made me think about the land the town passed on South Commons at a town meeting. There's not been a lot of building on it. What's the status of that land? Is there another opportunity for us to buy it from Rhodes and add it to the South Commons?
No, it's still going through ZBA. It's been like a 2-year process. And now that ZBA has started meeting online, they've continued the, hearings for it. I suspect they're going to, at the next meeting, they will be ending the process, and then they have something like 40 days to make a decision. But that's about where they stand.
I'm wondering if there's a reasonable price to still get that land. I know we'd probably pay more than we would have paid if we got it in the first place, but.
I mean, Scott, I can tell you that I had a conversation a few years back when I first came on the board and said, is there anything that we could do? And the price quoted to me back then made me want to fall over a little bit. So I'm sure if fast forward 2 more years, it's probably going to be just as high. And it's something that the town can't truly afford. Even if you tapped into CPA money, the price that I was quoted a couple years ago, there's no way we can touch it. So,
Yeah. But I will keep you updated because I am attending the ZBA meetings.
Okay.
Do you have anything, Peg?
really?
Oh, well, I thought maybe you were going to surprise me.
Really? No, I'm not going to surprise you. You go first and then I'll wrap it up and go quick.
Well, the only thing I had was that at our next meeting, Margaret and I had talked about doing an executive session. And I wanted to make sure that you guys were available for 6:30 next week.
Mhm.
Is 6:30 going to do it, Margaret?
No, I think 6:30 could do it, yes.
Okay, and I believe, am I correct that Liz may be able to come or no?
Yes,
I can't remember.
she could
Okay.
if we'd like her there, yes.
Okay, because that's right, because she said she had to be in Boston on a Zoom at a certain point, but she wouldn't be able to come unless ours was a Zoom too, or something.
Thinking, would you
That it?
be as 6:15 pushing it? I'm just wondering if we can get kind of bonus time here. Is 6:15 pushing it, or is 6:30 as early as you can go?
I can go
I can get there at
6:15.
6. I can make it by 6:15.
So
Okay,
let's go with 6:15, okay.
all right. All right, that's all I had.
We allowed to bring dinner to the executive session, so if I have to,
Oh, sure. Only if you
You
share.
know?
I'll hand it off to people on the.
There you go. All right. What did I have? So coffee talk. Do you want to wait on that? I know that I was having fun and finding like cute little memes on coffee and stuff like that before we start to push that. We have time, correct? Do you want to put it on next week's agenda? To start putting,
To think
you know,
of
like,
subjects.
well, yeah,
subjects.
yeah, either think of subjects, or I know that, Mary was really good at pushing it out on our website, and then I would push it, and then I can get it out to Jan at the item, and we can figure out all the other different ways to push it out. So didn't know if that
Okay.
was like super duper critical, or if we could wait till next week.
Oh, it's
Do
gonna
you-
be April 5th.
Yeah, April 5th. And what's the date of the coffee talk again?
Like the
22nd?
22nd or
Is it
25th.
28th?
It's like everyone's like pulling up a calendar. I think it's the 22nd, because the 15th
That's
was
right,
energy.
that's right, that's right.
Right, it's energy,
right,
so we
right.
pushed it a week. Yep,
Okay, it did.
Right.
I-
And a chunk of it is going to be town meeting stuff.
yep.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just wondering, is our agenda next week going to be longer? I think it might be a
Got the
little
joint
longer.
meeting, you've got the police updates.
Library.
I guess just with,
That joint meeting, that shouldn't
right.
take that long,
So-
I don't think.
We have to start working on the motions, but we can.
Oh, the motions,
you
yes,
can-
those will be, yeah.
I mean, if we don't have time to put coffee talk on, is it going to be terrible if it's the next week?
No, I don't think it'll be terrible. I just want to make sure that we have adequate information, like to get out and get pushed around so that
Yeah.
people know. And it's a constant push on our site, push on the 2 unofficial Berlin sites,
Right.
item, because we definitely want the blinky sign. I'm sure the
Yep.
Lions Club will do something as well in the center of town for us.
I think sometimes when you put it out too early, people forget too.
Yeah. Okay.
But I've got it on my list here.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
I put it on mine too, so we can kind of cross-check each other.
Okay.
Okay. I
Not in
did-
hockey terms.
Yeah.
I did get a hold of Jan at the item and let her know that we had pushed out our election date and town meeting, so we missed the deadline. Big deal, last week, so it'll probably show up in this week's item. I did
I
go.
also, excuse me, Peg, I also sent her the notice for Earth
Good.
Day. So
Oh,
she's gonna-
awesome.
Yeah.
Perfect. Last week, there was an MVP seminar on different grants. And what I can do is I can send the presentation around. There's a bunch of links in there. I did specifically ask about the dam and said, it's it's a bit of an odd problem. You know, the town doesn't really own it. The town doesn't really want it. But if the town did own it, what would we need to do with it? So Mary Hannah, I think, lovely, and gave me lots of links so I can pass them around, and maybe we can figure out if there's any possible grants that we can start chug-a-lugging on to do that.
MVP grant round just opened,
Yep.
so.
Yep. Okay.
You should talk to Dennis to see where we are, or maybe Margaret, have you talked to Dennis about like what's going on with the family? And
No, we could probably get the inside scoop, but what we need to do at this point is we need to prepare a paragraph about that dam, what we want to do with it for that expression of interest, and that needs to be submitted as soon as possible. So we'll just
Okay.
round up whatever information we can, Peg, from
Yep.
whatever sources we have.
Okay. All right. And I'll take a look through. Yeah. Mary Hannah Smith. Where is she? Yeah, she sent, try reaching out to the Mass Department of Ecological Restoration.
Yeah, that's another one.
Yeah, she said they specialize in dam removal, but also seem to be dam specialists. Might provide you some guidance. And then she gave a link of funding sources, might be helpful in this dam issue. So,
I know.
I
knew that was going to be thrown in at some point.
You were waiting, weren't you? So I will get that out, but it was just kind of interesting to hear what other towns are up against. You know, Princeton was there. They came in mass, talking about water, kind of like Berlin. They don't have water system. They have ponds, and ponds aren't very good. And so they're very concerned about, if something happens in the town, what's going to happen. So, but I will definitely post or pass those, the presentation and the various funding sources around. All right. And then my last one, our feel-good item. So we spend so much time on budgets and what's been increased and what's been decreased and what articles are going on and why not they're going on and who's doing what. I want to take a step back and recognize this young man. His name is Angelo Lembo. I just like the name, Angelo Lembo. He and his mom were walking around South Cemetery on Pleasant Street, and he decided to pick up all the sticks. No one asked him to. He just thought, hey, they're there, so, let me pick them up. Quite a large response on Facebook, thanking him, thanking his mom, for raising such a great kid. So I thought that we could take a moment and send him just a certificate of thanks. And I had sent that out to you guys. It was something that I had found on PowerPoint template. I don't know if Lisa can work her wonderful marketing magic and come up with something more slick, in a letter to him. But I think for a boy that young to be able to do this and to be recognized just as a thank you, makes us step back and realize what's important. And, maybe he keeps doing it, maybe it influences his friends when he shows that off. So we start small and hopefully go big. I had texted his mom because I wanted to make sure it was okay with her before I started blathering his name all over, our meeting and, forever etched in a YouTube. And she was fine. And she said that he thought he would be absolutely thrilled. So, if we're all coming down to sign various documents, I don't know if that's something that, we could do where all four of us could put our signatures on and with a letter, and then I can drop off the address as well. And we can get that out in a lovely official Town of Berlin looking envelope to him.
would you want to do read it at a meeting to him?
We could, but I'm wishy-washy and I'll cry halfway through it. So you know what? I would need to. I would.
Chris could do it.
I could read it, or Scott could read it.
Yeah, I teared up writing it. You really think that I want to read it? Dear Lord, no.
Well, I mean, it might be something he'd be excited about. How old did you say he was?
He's young. I think he's probably like around 12. So he's a young kid. And hopefully this will make a great impression on him. I know it made a great impression on me. And it was funny, one of the gals that I went to high school with, I got a little note of, hint, hint, Peg, don't you think that you can do something about this? I'm like, I'm on it. So, definitely. But yeah, if Lisa wants to take a whack at it and, make it pretty,
You said
then
you sent a certificate template or?
I did. I sent it, last night was the last one that I sent. I sent it the 28th at 7:27.
Okay. I was already asleep. No, only kidding.
Nice. Okay, no, I updated it 8:22. Then you were probably asleep.
I probably was getting close.
There you go, with his name and just a small letter of thanks. So yeah, I'm totally okay with somebody else reading it because I'll just blubber.
Well, I mean, maybe it's something that you ask
His mom.
which Monday might be a good day, and we could read it to him, show it to him, and say, we're going to send this to you or give it to you. Or
Yeah, and he might be totally embarrassed. He not
well,
want it.
ask her. Maybe
Yeah.
maybe she'll know whether
Okay.
he
All right.
would prefer not to. I know if it was my son, he would have not wanted it done.
Agreed.
Never
Agreed.
be like the center of attention. So
Well, that's just it. It's a random act of kindness and people usually do them not looking for any type of recognition, but, and that's why you do it. And that's why you pay it forward because you can. And,
Yeah.
you should.
well, we'll do that if he prefers not to.
Okay. All right. So
How's
if
that?
Lisa can work on those and I'll reach out to his mom and see what she wants to do and then we'll go from there.
It's like
Janet
a really
has her
nice
hand up.
diversion. It's like a really nice diversion.
It really is.
It really is. It really is. And
To everything else.
and the feedback, from the town, it was just, people that he will probably never meet. That young man has made an impression on.
Yeah.
So, kudos to him.
And maybe he will make an impression on other kids his age.
Correct.
So
Okay. All
Janet
right.
has her hand up, Chris.
who does?
Janet.
Janet.
Her
I
hand raised.
just
and
wanted
she's-
to say, you people just made my night with that, and I needed to hear a feel good story today, and that just warmed my heart. And
Yep.
yeah, one of you will have to read it because I had to hold Peg's hand with something she had to do in public, and she can't do it.
I can't.
But
You know what?
that was such a lovely story, and I am not on social media at all. So I would not have seen all that, and I needed to hear that tonight. So I
It
just
was
wanted
your
to say
feel
thank
good
you.
moment.
Yeah,
Janet.
thank you.
Well,
Janet,
I
I'll
think
send it to you.
I think I can read it, but you know what? I could find out that I can't.
Yeah, I don't think I could either.
All right, I will try.
This might all
Okay.
be on you.
All right, I'll try. Ready? I won't look at you. I said, Angelo, recently the select board was made aware of your selfless act of cleaning the abundant number of sticks that had befallen on one of our town cemeteries. Not only did you make a difference, oh God, here we go, in the final, shut up, in the final resting place of many of our town residents, but by doing so, many of our residents of the town who saw the same post we did expressed their gratitude and thankfulness of your action. Right. You have exemplified the qualities of an outstanding young man, and the only reason we knew of this was because of your mom. To say that your mom is quite proud of you would be an understatement. Angela, please accept this letter and certificate of thanks on behalf of the select board, our town administrator, and on behalf of the town. Thank you for being you, and because of your selfless act has made quite a difference in people you may never know or greet. We are thankful. We are grateful to have you as a member of Berlin. Respectfully, all of us. So there you go.
All right. Well, Margaret's out, and so are
You
you.
did better than last time, Peg.
So it's Scott or I.
Scott. All right, I'm out.
All right.
I warned you. I warned
I
you
was-
all.
I was trying to see while you were reading that, whether or not I could pull up the Facebook posting that had the pictures before you could finish. And the answer was no, but
I did.
I attempted to have the photograph.
Thank you. I warned you. You know what? I look tough
Yep.
on the outside, but I'm just like a wicked big marshmallow on the inside. So,
Oh,
okay. All right. I'll get that.
Okay.
I'll talk to his mom and
Okay.
we'll see what we can do. Cool. Thank you.
All
And
right.
that concludes Peg's crying session for the select board meeting of March 29th.
All right, then. We are not having an executive session tonight, so I would take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
And seconded.
Keith, aye.
Stone Eye.
Hawkins, aye.
Thanks all.